Well, hello there, Minecrafters. Thanks for coming by. Of course, I've been working on the map as usual, having a blast. And this section I'm working on now is it's quite ambitious, and it's taking quite a while, mostly because of my own incompetency. Because when I started this map, I had some ambitious thoughts. However, I had no idea how the Minecraft scoreboard system works, so that in itself is quite a brain twister and a huge learning curve. However, it's going really well, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. Now, I wanted to take some time and dedicate a video specifically to our little spinny friend in front of us, Mr. Slime, and we're talking about the slime spawner. I'm not talking about slime farms. I'm talking about these little monster spawners, the slime itself. And you've seen these in vanilla. They have zombie, cave spider, blaze, skeleton. But in a program like MCEdit, you can pretty much make almost any mob into a spawner cube. So if you're a map maker, you may have wanted to make a slime spawner, and it is a little frustrating if you're not sure why it's working. In fact, I was very frustrated. I was about to give up, and just by chance, I actually got lucky and did some testing and figured out what the heck is going on. So this right here, let's see, what are we in? We are in easy. I can even change to normal. Nothing is spawning. It has absolutely nothing to do with the sun. It has nothing to do with the biome. We are in desert biome. This thing should be spawning based on, if you compare it to other spawners like a creeper spawner or whatever, except for the light. But in the case of the slime, it has nothing to do with the light. I'll show you what it has to do with it. There is some information in the wiki about it. Now, I thought it had to do with natural slime spawning, because they spawn in slime chunks or swamp. That is kind of the case with these little things. So over here, I've done some testing with slime spawn. It kind of went crazy, and like I said, I wanted to get the slimes to spawn in this area here, and they were just not happening. I've set up a whole bunch of these slime spawners, and basically when we walk over them, they should spawn, because I'm in range. I've kind of custom made them. I'm in range, and they should be spawning, but they're not. And what is true about this is that you have to be in, or the spawner cube has to be in a slime chunk. Now, I'm just going to put the coordinates on. Before I show you where we are, how I came across this was I just went crazy in MCEdit, and I set up some spawners here with a very wide range. And you can see that one over there. Yeah, they started spawning like way over there, and I said, what is going on? There was one way over there. I said, that doesn't really make sense, because they should be spawning near it. Well, what I found out was this is a slime chunk. Apparently, spawner cubes or spawner blocks only work for slimes in slime chunks. So, unfortunately, if you want to use them, you're going to have to basically build your map around it or move your map towards the location. Now, these ones have a closer spawn range, but if you've ever tried to use slime spawners, you could see they spin and they have fire, but they won't spawn any slimes. And if you're like me, you're like, why are they not spawning? I've tried darkness, I've tried swamp biome, nothing's working. And it all has to do with the coordinates on the map, whether you're in a slime chunk. Now, the wiki kind of confirms this. I'm just going to show you a bit more information about it. But here we are at height 40. So I'm just going to do this. Up here is the Y coordinate. I'm not sure if this is going to show on YouTube, but this is 40 up here. See 40? And we are not spawning. The slimes are not spawning. Now, if I go down one block to 39, they will spawn. It's not really that fast, but you can see they are spawning. And I've custom made all these so that they'll spawn when I'm very close to them. And then if I come over to 38, they spawn quite a bit quicker. Now, that was the height I was testing, because I went all the way to the height of the world and nothing was happening. Just the fire was going around it. And so the other thing I did after I found out that these were spawning over there, I started testing kind of from the middle of this point. And what I found out was, now, if you look at my coordinates here, the X and the Z, or Z for my American friends, the X here is where we are standing, the negative 623, or 1623, or 1624 is the actual pure. But over here, pure coordinate, I'm going to say, over here is the C. This is a C. You can see the C, and it says 102 and 8, and that is actually part of the chunk coordinate. And what I found out was at these glowstone points, they didn't really spawn until I started moving it, and it was very, very little at the outer edges. You see it just when it blinks there, it spawns. But as I moved in, they would spawn like crazy. So you see they're just spawning like crazy. And I went all the way out over here. And this one here basically didn't, and then this one was very rare that it did. So if we notice here, we're in, now we're going to go down to the Z coordinate here. I should have said that before. We're at 4. I back up, and at 6 they basically don't spawn. But as we move into 5, and they start spawning like, I don't think there's really any difference kind of in a huge section here. Didn't seem to be. They're pretty fast because I've set them to spawn very fast. But over here as well on the X here, it's changing from 10. We're at 10, go to 9, and that's kind of the border. So it's not really 0 and 15. It's sort of in between that. And you can see here it's sort of the same. 6 over here, and I think, was it over here we have? That's a 10, and over here we have 6. So it seems like on the 6, between the 6 and the 10s, I think. 6 and the 10s. So up here you're seeing 10 up here on the X coordinate. That's where our slime chunk is, or that's where the slimes will spawn. If your it's all dependent on if your spawner cube is in the middle there, because they can spawn outside if you set it that way, but your cube has to be in the middle, or your block has to be in the middle. Now I also did some testing based on height. We already know that the height doesn't work, and that's supported by the wiki. But I also checked down here. I'm at layer what am I at? I'm at 2 right now, and I set this one up. I'm just going to get rid of all the slimes so that we can just do a new test. And it has no problem. Has no problem spawning. It's not bad down here. Yeah, it's spawning pretty good. So I don't think, I'm not sure if height really matters as long as you're within the 0 to 39. I did do some testing with center, and what I found out was center of these borders is 8. And it does go pretty fast, but it doesn't seem to really go any faster than the other ones. It is pretty crazy though, but you can see the 8 there and the 8 there. And then I also tested it center for height. And let me just do the peaceful again. And just quickly go back to easy. And it does spawn, it spawns pretty good. But I don't think it's really any different. So I'm not sure if height makes any difference, but definitely your coordinates left to right do. So I thought that would be pretty helpful. Like I said, it matters if you're in a slime chunk, so it's kind of unfortunate that if you want to use slimes in your map, you're going to have to basically build your map around a slime chunk or move it towards that. But hopefully this is pretty helpful. Like for me, it's definitely good information because I need to use this in the map. And they seem to be one of the more difficult mobs to spawn in Minecraft based on where they are allowed to spawn. But anyway, that is my little info for you on slime spawning. Man, they're going like crazy. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it's helpful if you're a map maker. And also, if you want to build a slime farm, you could probably use these coordinates. As far as I know, this is correct. It might be different for another place. I tried to build this in a new world, and it's just takes a long time to find a slime chunk unless you use some sort of program. I think there's one on the internet that you can do an algorithm and it'll figure out based on your world seed, but I just happen to be lucky and and build my map kind of in the middle of one. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that little look on slime spawners, and like I said, I couldn't find anything, so here's a video on it. Anyway, have a great day, enjoy your Minecrafting.